We're supposed
it's Friday here in California, and I'm hanging out here with Tam Pham, who, if you don't know already, you should probably know. He is a man.
we're brothers.
We look alike,
I'm just
right?
kidding.
But anyways, we're here
Spoiler
today
alert.
because he wrote a book last year called How to Network. You can go to the Albert's List YouTube channel and find more about that. But he also wrote a book that just came out this month, and it's called How to Land Your Dream Internship. And so we wanted to just take some time today to talk about that, landing your dream internship, your dream job, and just how a guy like this, and you'll hear his story here in a bit, does everything that he does and has had the level of a success that he's had as well. I've had the opportunity to watch Tam over here for the last couple of years, and he's done viral YouTube videos on his college application process. He's wrote the definitive book on how to network and how to land your
Oh
internship.
gosh.
He's worked for Sam Parr, who is all about HustleCon and the hustle, and he is he's one of the more Tam, I should say here, is one of the more important and more well-connected people here in Silicon Valley today. And, here in Albert's List, I want to bring, and, he's laughing, but I'm not laughing because
Okay.
I truly believe it.
Albert, you need a. I'm gonna bring you around to like bars,
Okay?
and I need you to say the exact same introduction to everyone we
No,
talk
I'm
to.
laughing. Right. But, here on Albert's List, I like to bring people who are movers and shakers. And if I lived in Silicon Valley full time, I'd probably have a lot of people to bring around on a daily basis because there's so many amazing people here. But today I'm spending it with Tam here for the next little bit. And we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about internships. We're going to talk about dream jobs. We're going to talk about the things that he does to be successful and where he's gone. And if you've got any questions, put them in the comment section here below because, he's pretty remarkable. And so, before we jump into the book, you want to introduce yourself a little bit and who you are and what makes you, just, I would say, ooze magic and ooze success all day long?
Well, first, thank you for the very humbling introduction. I think you kind of played up everything that I've done so far, but I appreciate it. I don't think I'm nearly as successful or like, far off as I want to be. But I turned 21 in November, and I've personally been able to accomplish a lot of things that most people wouldn't be able to accomplish in an amount of time that like before like 25 or 26, which is, for example, publishing 2 books now, landing dream internships with like my mentors, or my role models who I really aspire to be, and just like building this network of people that I love and trust, and luckily they can vouch for me as well. And I'm hustling. I'm working my butt off every single day to do so. So I'm really happy to be here with Albert. And last time I seen you, we were at Las Vegas together.
Yeah, I ran into this guy in the middle of the line at White Castle.
At like 12:30 a.m.
Well, 12:30 a.m. in the morning. I'm on the phone with a friend, and
It was amazing.
I look over to my right, and Tam's there ordering White Castle burgers, and I'm like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Wow, yeah, and I'm about to leave myself, but yeah, it was pretty cool."
Yeah, but that's about me. My job here is just to provide you with much value as possible, and just help however I can. So yeah, happy to be here.
Wonderful. So before we hop into your book, How to Land Your Dream Internship here. And by the way, for those folks who are interested in this book, we'll be jumping into it really shortly. It is available on Amazon, I believe, in both paperback and in Kindle version, right?
Yeah, if we're dropping plugs, I'm gonna plug it. It's www.internshipbook.co, and then you'll find the Amazon link.
Perfect, and we'll put a link in the chat window here. So you just said you turned 21 and you're hustling and you've written 2 books, and your ability to rent a car, that still costs a lot of money for you, and you're just barely able to drink, but you're hanging out with your mentors, you're putting together world-class events with them, you're writing Amazon bestseller books. What's the motivation? What drives you for all of this? What makes you wake up from your bed every morning and makes you just really want to do all this?
Well, first it was discontentment or being discontent with my life. So a year and a half into college, I was getting straight A's, but I was questioning everything. I was like, I'm paying thousands of dollars to learn stuff that's not really relevant to what I actually want to do. So because I was discontent, I did something about it, and I left college to work on my own startup. And then when that failed, I started to learn more from people I admired, people I respected. So it's just being discontent with something, and then trying to find opportunities to better that need or better that curiosity. So I don't ever want to live in a life of discontentment, and I just want to hustle my way up and do what's like best for me.
And so that's what kind of inspired that first book that you wrote, right? Tell us a little bit about how to network, because I remember when that book came out and just how it was such a breath of fresh air reading that book. And
Yeah.
because there's a lot of books out there about networking, but you took a different angle to it.
Yeah, so I wrote this book called How to Network, and it basically gave all the lessons I've had over the year, over like a year or two actually, building a very not like a huge network, but like a very decent sized network of people that that people respect, admired, and trusted. And people kept asking me like, Tam, how do you know so many people? And I kept having the same advice, and then someone said, hey, you should turn it into a book. So I did. And the difference between this book and many other networking books is that I made it very funny, very relatable. I had like funny pictures in there. I called people out on stuff, and I had real life, like real world stories from my own experiences of how to network essentially, and broke it down very very simply. Forget the very, just simply. And that had a very great success rate, and I'm very happy to a year later to launch this book.
Okay. And so you were able to find a job that you actually was very fulfilling for you over the past year with all the principles you learned from that book, right?
Exactly. I think like the last 6 jobs or 7 or whatever jobs I've had were all through referrals, and I never had I never used a resume for any of that. It was all based on word of mouth. Like, hey, you have to meet this guy, Tam. Like, he's a hustler. He'll do whatever it takes to help you and whatever. And I'm very grateful for that.
Great. And then after you wrote that book, something inspired you to write this book. And Vamshi, we have I see your question there, and we'll address it. I think actually, you know what? We'll address it now before we hop into the rest of it. So, what are you asking? You're asking, hey, I did my master's in industrial and have 10 months of experience in different internships. And whatever company I try to apply, they say that we've got a more experienced guy. Can you just guide me like what to do and how? Shed some light on it.
You're probably more experienced in that realm, huh?
Yeah. I think before we hop into talking about this book, I think the thing that I would tell Vamshi here is probably what I tell every single new grad these days, and that's just pretty much to have as many irons in the fire as possible, apply to as many jobs as you can, and then understand where you fit within every single aspect of the job search. And so industrial engineering, I'm going to guess, is more so on the cost and creative side of the job search. And when it comes to that, what you just got to do is you need to just understand where you fit, understand your strengths, and work on those strengths and stand out from the rest of the crowd.
I actually have a different opinion than that.
Okay, let's talk. Let's fight about it.
Sure. Well, my opinion is that if you really want a job at a specific company, you would do whatever it takes to get that job, right? So you work backwards. Like, for example, this famous story with Tristan Walker. He was do you hear the story about Tristan Walker at Foursquare?
No, I didn't.
So this one guy, he's like young, 22, and he really wanted to be the head of business development at Foursquare, one of the hottest tech companies at the time, which was like 2009. And what he did was he emailed the CEO, no response. Followed up like 10 times, no response. Applied to the job board, no response. Applied to the website, no response. Contacted everyone on the team, or I'm exaggerating, but he did whatever it takes to get that job. Like, no one wanted to talk with him or like take him seriously. So what he did was, to make a long story short, what he did was he just did the work. He went to different companies, knocked on their doors, and got advertisers for Foursquare. And so next time he emailed the CEO, he's like, hey, I have these advertisers lined up for you. Can we meet? So he basically did the work already and basically showed them that, hey, I'm serious. I may be young, but I can get the work done. And he acted as if he was an actual business development rep at Foursquare. And then the very next day, they met up, the CEO and him, and he got hired. And that's the same way that...
Well, I mean, I think that, while doing that is very admirable, and I think you should do it to a certain degree. Like, the job that I currently have, I was told to create a marketing plan prior to the interview process. And, I think that's important. But you don't want to do too much free work either. Getting advertisers lined up, I think that's great. I think that going out and going above and beyond to show that you're capable of the work is, really great too. And, I think maybe for new grads, it's especially interesting because you can probably get so much work for free if you wanted to. But people, may or may not be willing to listen to what you're exactly looking to do. And I think at the end of the day that, you do have to show up, I think, a little bit more than usual when you're at that level, at that new level, where you don't know what you can prove, and you're an unproven commodity. But I think that, you have to kind of balance that out.
Well, I disagree with that. I disagree with that free work. If you want to, I don't know how far you want to dive deep into this, but I disagree with that. But this is your show.
Well, how much free work would you be willing to do to get into a company?
Well, this is your dream company, right?
Right.
If this is your dream company, wouldn't you do whatever it takes to get to that dream company? It's like working with like Kobe Bryant. Would you rather work with Kobe Bryant, NBA legend, and do whatever it takes free work to get to work with Kobe Bryant? Or would you want to do just to take a random job with some coach to mentor you to become a better basketball player?
Right. I think if it's your dream company, then you should probably absolutely do what you need to do for it. I think if all you need is a job, then apply broadly. So maybe I do agree with you at the end of the day. I think I just like to look at how people apply for jobs on different spectrums of interest and different spectrums of like passion.
Yeah. So yeah, you're totally right on that. Everyone has different goals, right?
Yeah.
And everyone has different passions or whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But cool. I don't like agreeing. I like jabbing.
I like the jab too. But I think that I think we're fairly clear here on what people like. So. Yeah, the briefcase technique. Okay, all right.
The briefcase technique is very, very great. I like that technique a lot.
Yeah.
Basically, just showing up. The technique in the short term is just showing up prepared, saying, "Here's a briefcase of everything that I want to do." I don't know exactly the details, but some people have like a 30, 60, 90 plan, which they show up with like, "Here's 30 days. I'm gonna do this. 60 days. I'm gonna do this. 90 days. I'm gonna do this."
Yep.
And there's a lot of different techniques, but
absolutely. So I think that's a good answer to that question. I think dream job or not, I think there's a different approach for each. I want to hop into your latest book for a moment. So for everyone who's actually hung with us here for the last however long we've been here, Tam is actually now the author of a second book, and this is called How to Land Your Dream Internship: A Proven Step-by-Step System to Gain Real-World Experience. So tell us a little bit about this book and what kind of inspired that, and walk me through kind of your model and maybe the high-level takeaway, and then we'll jump in.
Yeah, definitely. So this book was born because so many people kept asking me, like, Tam, how do you get so many internships? And are you reading out the comments?
Yeah. Ray Lou just says, I like to see you doing this free work as an extension of your own social capital and what you can offer. I think at a certain point, if you've built expertise and thoughtfulness, even as a younger professional, free work doesn't necessarily go to waste. And then Omar says, it is essentially what you were describing earlier. You show up to an interview and present a solution to a problem your future employer has.
Yep.
Makes sense.
I agree with
absolutely.
that. So this book was born, everyone kept asking me how to get so many internships. Instead of answering them over and over with the same advice, I just wrote a book about it and made it very, very detailed, showing anyone, step by step, any young person, step by step, how to get their dream internship. And we can definitely go over the high level points. The book is up into 4 parts. The first part is all about choosing yourself, which basically means what do you want, and like being very clear on what your goal is and what type of job is best for you. Some people just go in the job search and they don't really know what they want. They just want a job, and I think that's kind of not the best approach in the job search. Part 2 talks about actually preparing for jobs, so getting your resume ready, getting your cover letter ready, getting your personal website ready, and building a personal brand. Part 3 talks about actually doing the job search, so all the different ways we can go about it, the front door, the side door, and the creative approach, which we can definitely dive into. And the 4th part is all about interviewing before, during, and after, how to master that part, and choosing your internship offer when all these companies offer you a gig.
And why did you decide to model your book that way?
I think I like to think of everything as frameworks. So this is my framework for job searching. Finding yourself, getting everything prepared, actually searching for jobs, and then going through the job search, like the interview process. So that's my framework. And everyone has their own framework. You probably have your own framework. Ramit Sethi has his own framework. Tristan, everyone has their own framework, and I feel like this is the easiest way for people to grasp the lessons.
Great. And so, how would you apply the principles that you have here? Because we're not just only job seekers here in Albert's List who are looking for internships, but we also have people who are looking for jobs at every single level. So I speak to people every day who are everybody from new grads to mid-level professionals to the occasional senior level professional. And so how does landing your dream anything change throughout the entire job hunt process?
I think a lot of the principles apply whether it's an internship or your dream job or whatever it is. This book is specifically for the internship and written for a college audience. I think you will have more experience in the full-time positions and senior positions because that's where your expertise is. And I don't want to pretend and say like I know how to do that, but I do know that the same principles, like showing up, like for example the briefcase technique, that works for most jobs. Showing up with a solution to these problems. In the book, I wrote about how you should come up with ideas that help the company solve their problem and go into the interview with these ideas in mind. So the principles apply in almost any aspect of the job search, whether it's an internship or a senior level. I think more specifically for the senior positions, you'll be a better fit to answer that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not even really in the senior position in my own career right now, but I would say that when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, your ability to get that senior level role is still a lot like how you do at that entry level role too, where you have to be able to assert your value. You have to talk about the solutions that you can bring to the table to solve those companies' problems, and you just need to be able to stand up and stand out from everyone else because you're probably going to be interviewing alongside many other people.
I dig it, man.
Yeah. So that's kind of what it is. So, anything else from this book that? So, if anybody, I know this is a relatively short book at 120 pages in total. But if somebody were thinking and they were on the fence of buying this book today, what would be your main pitch for it?
Well, it's essentially, if your goal was to land a dream internship at whatever company you want, Facebook, Google, DreamWorks, startups, this book is a no-brainer because it literally shows you step by step on how to do it. And I'm not trying to sell you on like the book because I believe in it.
We're here to have you sell this book. Absolutely.
I don't even care. I believe in this book no matter what do you think. But if your goal is to land an internship, this is like the holy grail. This is the blueprint to doing exactly that. And if you want to dive into the lessons or anything more, I'm happy to just share it openly and hopefully you'll trust me on that.
Absolutely.
And read the book for more.
And I know you're an active member of my group, so if you have anything to share, it's some really good stuff. Yeah, your group is legit. How big is it now? Last time I interviewed you was like 14K. We're about actually. I think the last time you interviewed me, it was like 7K or something. 7K? Oh, remember that blog post? Yeah. 7,154 trust you. Yeah. You can up that to about 19,000 now. That's awesome. So it's a pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy time, and we got a lot of jobs going on in there these days, and even with the economy turning itself over, as I keep on hearing. I want to transition the topic sort of into Silicon Valley these days because you live here and I used to live here, and I come up here for 1 week at a time to sort of do stuff, but not much else. Tell me, what is kind of like the internship job search picture like these days for the folks who live out here? And then I actually kind of want to jump into things that you consider to be like success and things like that as we hop into that, because I know I'm just staring here at your shelf of books. Want me to show it? And yeah, show that to them. Got all these books And
Books
I
on
wanted to talk
books.
to you sort of about every one of these books. And I know I've picked out a couple of these myself because I think they're interesting here and there. And maybe we can recommend some books or some fall winter reading for our audience today. What do you think?
Yeah, heck yeah. We'll start with the Silicon Valley question first, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, job search is pretty much the same in most industries, but with startups specifically, a lot of approaches are different because startups move really fast. They're a small team, and they just want the best talent, and they don't have that much money, so that's why they call it a startup salary. And usually, if you do join a startup, you might get like stock options or other benefits, of course. But they don't put like a normal big company. They don't put a job posting on their website and have people apply to there. Instead, you just want to create the position yourself, kind of like Tristan Walker. They didn't have like a business development rep like application process, or I'm not sure if they did, but even if they did, they were a small like startup but still booming, and he just did the work and proved to the employer that he was legit. Like Kendall Baker at the last company I worked for called The Hustle. What he did was he sent in an epic email to the CEO, Sam Parr, about why he would be a great fit for The Hustle. And it was just him like doing push-ups and drinking tequila and like the email was like super well written. It's on the blog if you want to look at it. But it's just like doing that hustle stuff, like finding what the company is, what their vibe is, and like what they need help on, and finding a way to creatively approach like the job search through like different means, like either a cold email, doing the work themselves, making a funny video, etc. And I cover that in the book that How to Land Your Dream Internship.
Wow, that's awesome. And so now that we've talked about that a little bit, how would you do that for bigger companies in the Valley? Because obviously somebody who is in HR at a Cisco or an Apple or an eBay may view your push-up inducing tequila drinking self as a much different individual.
Very true. So that's why I mentioned you have to find out what the company is, find out what their vibe is, and see what's the best way for you to get there. So with like a Cisco, they probably wouldn't like it if you drank tequila and like did push-ups for them, because that's not their style. So it's a whole different approach. For those big companies, since they're already established, what I would do is I would contact the people who worked in your dream position before, or people who worked at Cisco, to see how their process was like. Because you don't want to reinvent the wheel. If someone's already done it, you can just ask them how they did it, and it'll most likely be the same format. Because big companies, I'm assuming they're a little bit slower to change.
Wonderful. So I think before we conclude this Facebook Live today, I was looking at your bookshelf a little earlier, and just really enthralled and amused, and I think impressed with all the variety of books that you have up here, because it's just so how would I even say it? It's so cool that you're so well read, and I see everything from Gary Vaynerchuk to James Altucher to even this most recent book, Born for This. I know we have a couple of books here. Here's Tina Fey's Bossy Pants. A friend of mine likes Tina Fey, and so this is why this stood out for me. And so I'm just looking through all these books, and what else do we have? We have Awaken the Giant Within here with Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Always a good one. We've got Hooked.
You finished this whole book?
I've listened to the audio version of it.
Really? It's thick.
It is a thick book.
It's thick.
But that's the book that pretty much launched him, isn't it?
Yeah. 1980, I think.
1980. I mean, look at how young that guy is on the cover.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins got a lot more wrinkles these days, but he looks like he just walked out of a bar in this one. We've got Hooked by Nir Eyal, and we're talking about how to build habit-forming products in that one. It's a very Silicon Valley book. Another really good one that comes out of the guy who wrote The 4-Hour Workweek is The 4-Hour Chef by Tim Ferriss.
You read it?
I have the free version of this book. I actually haven't dived into it because.
What's the free version?
So what is it? This you can get this entire book for free off of Chris Pirillo's website. I forget the name of it, but he pretty much gives you everything and all the files in here for free. Yeah.
Cool.
Tony is insane. Yep, he is. He is there for Unleash the Power Within.
Yeah. SAP Center.
Yep, SAP Center. Are you going to that?
I'm not going to that.
No. And then probably a book that I read on my last flight from not to St. Louis, but out to Austin was Ask Gary V. And so for those of you who don't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, he's an entrepreneur, wine guy, social media guy, and so he wrote this book which pretty much categorized his entire journey to building VaynerMedia together. So out of all these books on here, which ones?
He does more than that, actually.
Oh yeah, he does. He does a lot of content these days, and he does a lot of different things. But out of all these books that you have on your shelf, which one would you recommend for somebody who maybe is in this jobs group in Albert's list to read or check out, or one that will change their life like tomorrow? Because I know one other thing you do is you send out an email every week about books you're reading, articles you've read, things that you find that are interesting.
Oh yeah.
And so like take us inside the mind of Tam Pham here.
Well, there's so many books. I think job searching. I don't think job searching is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
You only need like one book or two books at max to like be good at job searching.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example,
this one being one of them.
Yeah,
right?
if you want an internship, that'd be one of them. If you want a marketing job, you get your book. Job hunting is not hard. I think the books that shape you more are the ones that are outside your realm. Like if you're in tech and like apps and whatever, I think you're more likely to have more open mindset when you go outside of that. And so I have a lot of books that are totally unrelated. Like I'll grab this one. Like this is a comedy I read, How to Be Black. I think it was fantastic.
Wow.
So many of them. I read this one. This one is like for older people, but it's called the brain fog fix. It's this one doctor just talks about how to reclaim your focus, memory, and joy in 3 weeks.
Wow.
And
that's amazing.
And it's actually legit. It goes from like it's very well researched and well documented. But it's not for like it's technically for older people. It talks about like moms and like other stuff. But yeah, I love marketing. I have a whole marketing book here. I have some travel books, some comedies here because I'm really into comedy.
And how do you find these books? How do you discover them? Like how do you discover a book for mommies and daddies, and you're 21 and you definitely don't have kids or a wife that I know of? That's
a good question.
Yeah.
I get recommendations from friends,
right?
And then if they strongly recommend it, I buy it. It's not even a question. So I buy it and I read it because I feel like people say, oh, I don't want to buy all these books. They're too expensive for me. But if you think about it, like a $10 investment in like a book can change your life. Like a $10 book about internships, just okay, forget my book. A $10 book about reclaiming your focus, memory, and joy in 3 weeks will drastically improve your whole lifestyle.
That's 15 days.
15 days. 15 bucks on like Tony Robbins' book, Waking the Giant Within, can be a game changer. So I look at purchases like, as investments. So if I buy like an expensive dress shirt, I'm investing in it. I'm not like spending it. If that makes sense.
The book is called Don. The book is called The Brain Fog Fix. It is by Dr. Mike Dow, and this is what the cover looks like here.
No, it's really great. It goes into like your fitness, your mindset, or not mindset, like how your mind works and how to have a healthy brain.
Okay.
I gave it to my mom, but she didn't read it.
I kind of want to borrow this book myself.
Dude, you can borrow it. I highlighted everything.
Yeah, I just got through the page where you highlighted fish, and more fish.
Oh yeah.
So I think that makes a lot of sense.
It gives you like all the stuff you need to eat, all the stuff you need to drink, which is basically just water, essentially. And then it limits like your wine and stuff. But
yeah,
a lot of great books here.
Yeah,
and I give away a lot of books to like my friends. My book is like this whole bookshelf is like a library.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
People just take whatever book they want and they read it for however long.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, do you have any other thoughts before we conclude this call today and let everyone in this group on their way to a very merry Friday and a very productive weekend?
Well, I would say just stay focused on your goal. So if your goal is to land an internship, if your goal is to get a full-time job in marketing or psychology or whatever it is, be focused on your goal and then think about what's the best way to get to that goal. Whatever route people might give you advice on, that might not be the best route for you in that specific goal. Because I see career guys that are giving the same advice to like a 19-year-old to a 40-year-old like dad, and it's like, dude, like that's
That kind
giving
of
advice.
work.
Yeah, it's totally different situations and different goals. So find someone you trust. Be clear on your goal and learn from people who've been there before to get that goal. Other than that, like just have a fucking have
You
a
can swear it's okay.
have a
Everyone's of age here.
okay. Have a fucking great weekend. All right. I just want to make sure you.
It's all good. It's all good. We're not censoring you here, so it's all good.
Yeah, and email me or message me anytime you need help. Happy to be there for anyone in Albert's list.
Cool, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And I like the same. Would like to wish you guys a great weekend as well. And I'll be here in the Bay Area through Monday. Over this weekend, I'll be dragon boating out at Lake Merritt in Oakland, and just basically paddling hard. So, yeah, if you have anything that you want for your career, anything that you need, you've got this comment section below. You've got the wall, and there are probably 3 more job listings that were posted while we were doing this. So, have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next week.
Peace.
Peace.